Well, um, first of all, it's good to get back in the win column after a tough weekend. I really thought that was going to be a tough game tonight. That's a really good team, South Alabama, and obviously their pitchers early in the game had a tough time throwing strikes, and they walked several players, several batters. Our hitters showed a lot of discipline at the plate, and they gave us several free passes, and we took advantage of them. We had a couple of big hits early in the game. Gavin Dugas got us off to a good start with a clutch hit, and then Doty had a good base hit, and their kid tried to make a diving catch. And I thought Nolan Kane, really aggressive base coaching at third base with 2 outs, sent Dugas all the way from first base. He made a tremendous slide at the plate, and we got a big crooked number there early in the game, and we're able to just keep tacking on. And I thought, just piecing it together, our bullpen just all did a tremendous job. Will Helmers started out, and then Blake Money did a super job, Alex Brady. And then from there on, we just pieced it together, and really all the pitchers did a tremendous job. I don't think we gave up a hit even until the 6th inning or so. For the most part, we played really good defense, and made it a going away victory. But I didn't expect that kind of ball game, to be honest with you. I thought it was really going to be a tough one, and I was really proud of the guys that they were able to put the weekend behind them quickly and go out there and get us a good win and get ready for a big weekend coming up.
Coach David from Rivals, to kind of expand upon that a little bit, the psyche of a young team, especially after 3 disappointing losses, you could feel it in your tone in post game on Sunday in Knoxville. How important was this just to, hey, we are a good team, we are hitting, we're pitching well, we're fielding well, just for the team psyche to have some positive things go their way tonight?
Yeah, well, they try every game, and sometimes, they just don't get over the hump, and the other team scored 1 more run than us each game on, one was a suspended game, of course, but twice on Sunday, it's an awful feeling to get walked off. I've been on both sides of them, and, it's just an awful feeling. And then to have it done to you twice in one day. But, today, if you were in South Alabama's shoes, where you feel like you weren't even competitive in the game, that's even a worse feeling. And, South Alabama, if you put yourself in South Alabama's coaches' shoes, their players' shoes, they know they're a much better team than what they showed tonight. And, I'm sure that's going to be a long bus ride home for those guys, because they feel like they didn't even, weren't even competitive tonight, because they didn't compete on the mound. Their pitchers weren't throwing the ball over the plate, and they give us a lot of, free passes, and they didn't hit much at all against our pitching and so forth. The opposite was the case for us this weekend. We were very competitive in the games. The games were hard fought games that, one little thing here or there could have turned the tide, and we could have, been victorious in any of those 3 ball games. It's just, we didn't do what it took to win the games, but they were all extremely hard fought games. So, when you lose, whether it's a close game or a one-sided game, it hurts your psyche as a player. It hurts your psyche as a coach. But as the leader of the program, I can't let the kids get down in the dumps. I've got to keep them thinking positive and believing in themselves. And, because if they get down in the dumps, nothing good is going to happen. If they start having negative feelings about themselves, it's only going to get worse. And I believe in them. I think we have a good team. And, I've been in this game for a long time. This is my 42nd year as a coach, 39th as a head coach in college. I've been through everything that you can imagine. I've experienced the highest of highs, and I've experienced really difficult losses. This wasn't the first weekend of my life where it's been a miserable weekend. Believe me, I've had too many of them to want to remember. So, I've had nasty things said about me, and I know what it feels like to be, really low. And I know that it's hard to stay positive sometimes, but the only way that you get out of it is to remain positive with the kids and to be a good leader and to show them that you believe in them and that you have faith in them. And then they bounce back. They bounce back tonight. And, you know, had we been sulking and pouting and gone out there and played poorly tonight and got beat by South Alabama, it just would have been worse. It would have made it worse. And then you're staring at the #1 team in the country coming in with obviously very talented team and very talented pitching and so forth. So we needed to win tonight, you know, and we did. And now we can turn our attention to a great opportunity that we have in front of us beginning Thursday. Anybody else?
Yeah, Paul, purely offensively, it seems like the strikeouts were a little bit down. Y'all were a little bit better with runners on base. Did y'all hit in a timely manner more so tonight that you wanted to see?
Yeah, we had some really good at bats. As I mentioned, Gavin Dugas, you know, started it off with that really clutch hit in the first inning. And then I thought that Kay Doty struck a ball really well in the first inning, although it didn't fall for us. And then in the second inning, Kay Doty came through with a big hit there, and it did fall. And the center fielder tried to make a great catch, but he wasn't able to get it. But you know, we also had some at bats that were disappointing. You know, I was really hoping that Will Safford would come through with the bases loaded, nobody out there, and you know, he didn't come through. And I was hoping that would be a really big moment for him, but it wasn't. You know, later on he came through, without runners on base, but he had a nice base hit, so hopefully that was a confidence booster for him. You know, your team's never going to play perfect, Wilson. You know, I've coached for 39 years, and I could probably count on one hand where you walked away and said, "Man, did we play a perfect game tonight?" You have to make 27 outs or the game never ends. Or 24 outs if you're the home team. So you never really play perfect. Somebody has to make the outs somewhere along the line. But, we had some good clutch hits today, I thought. But, there's always things you can improve upon. There's no question about that.
Yeah. Hey, Coach, you guys threw a lot of your freshman arms tonight. Only 2 walks. I know that was a big preaching point this weekend. You guys, I think, gave up 22 or 23 free passes. Just, talk about the freshman performances on the mound tonight. Only allowing 2 walks and only 4 hits and 1 run.
Look at the difference in the 2 teams tonight. Their pitchers didn't throw a lot of strikes, and our pitchers did, and it was the difference in the ball game, really. And this weekend, we didn't give up a lot of hits, but we gave up a lot of free passes. And it just seems that when we give up the walks, they come around to score, at a critical time. And I didn't invent the game of baseball, I can assure you of that. There's no defense against the base on balls. I'd rather give up hits and let the other team earn their runs than walk guys and then give up hits. It's for a long time, it's been the most frustrating thing of in my entire coaching career is to, do what the South Alabama staff did tonight. Is to walk batters and then give up the hits. Hitting a baseball is the hardest thing to do in all of sports. If you just throw the ball over the plate and make the other team earn what they get, most of the time they're going to hit the ball at somebody and hit into outs. But, your pitchers are trying. They're trying to do the best they can. I'm sure the kids from South Alabama tonight weren't walking us on purpose. And that's, they're young kids and they're trying. This past weekend, our kids were trying as well, but sometimes they just barely miss. Sometimes the umpire has a tight strike zone, and sometimes they're just wild. It's the way it works sometimes. Okay. Thanks, y'all.
We'll have Will, Helmers, Dylan, Cruz, and Kay Doty. Y'all can start with questions for Cade.
Hey, David from Rivals, how just good of a feeling was it just to start doing everything and getting positive results from things for the entire team tonight, especially after what happened last weekend?
Yeah, that was a great win for the team. It was sort of a bounce back. It was great to see the pitchers do so well and just get some clutch hits. So, I mean, it's really good to get some momentum going into Vandy this weekend.
What's the approach heading into Vanderbilt? It's going to be a lot of, everybody was talking about the Mississippi State pitching staff, and the Vanderbilt pitching staff has the two big names at the top. Is the approach of we embrace that challenge? Like, kind of what's the approach?
I mean, we're just going to take it pitch by pitch. I mean, we're going to just try to do our best to, hit the fastballs, hit the breaking balls, just do what we can do, control what we control, and hopefully get some clutch hits and come out on top.
Do you like that going up against possibly two of the top 10 picks in the draft? Does it make it more of exciting?
I mean, a little bit. I mean, obviously they have incredible stuff, but I mean, I think it's just another game, another pitcher. So hopefully we can just get our swings off and come out on top.
Okay, really all this last weekend, the problem wasn't you guys getting on base. It was, getting you guys home once you got on base. I mean, just, talk about maybe what was said over the last 24, 48 hours about just, how you guys can improve in that area. And it obviously resulted in a big performance tonight.
I mean, yeah, we just haven't, we lacked in, getting that one big hit, one clutch hit. And I mean, we just kind of stuck to our plan. Eddie Smith has done a great job with, sticking to what we believe. And, we really embrace it, and it really worked out today. So I don't think we really changed anything. We just came up in the big situations and executed.
You, of course, that double was one of those big situations. What was kind of going through your mind as you walked up to the plate there with the bases loaded in the second inning?
I mean, I was really confident. I had just missed a base hit my first at bat, so I was ready to go up there, and contribute to help the team win. So I'm just thankful that I got a pitch that I could handle and executed for the team.
Coach, talked with us yesterday just about how frustrated everybody was in the program. I mean, just I don't know how much you can take us into it, but just the bus ride home and just what kind of conversations were had amongst you guys about how to just kind of flush this last weekend and kind of get back on track, because you obviously welcome the number one team in the country this weekend.
Yeah, I mean, like I said earlier, we had base runners, we had opportunities, we just kind of lacked the clutch hit. So I mean, the bus ride home, obviously we didn't do what we wanted to do, but we stayed positive and we looked to fast forward to this game, and we're just worried about taking it one game at a time. So that's pretty much what we're doing.
Any more questions for Cade? Thank y'all. All right, y'all can start with questions for Will.
Will, what was the feeling of y'all as a team coming into this game after that sweep against Tennessee? Was it frustration? Was it, we can still do this? Sort of where were y'all at mentally coming into this?
Kind of the feeling after what happened in Tennessee and, the bus ride back and that kind of stuff was that, we just need to get right back on track. Flush what happened last weekend and just move on. It was obviously not our best weekend and couldn't come up in any of the games. But I think the most important thing was to flush that, get back on track with this big win right here and get ready for the weekend against a really good team.
How much did, getting to end up, winning in sort of a blowout fashion, how much did that help flush things and help refocus before Vanderbilt?
I think that was a huge part. Being able to have the hitters hit like that and hit a couple bombs and get their minds right and have the pitchers come out of the bullpen and throw strikes and compete up there was a huge thing. So I think that's a big deal coming into this weekend against a number one team. They're obviously a great team, but so are we. So I think we're gonna be good this weekend.
Coach was just, telling us, when you guys aren't allowing those free passes, you do very well and you don't, allow a whole lot of runs. But it just seems like when every time you guys allow a walk or a string of walks, it just leads to runs every time. I mean, just how much has that been stressed with the pitching staff over the last, 48 hours? And obviously you guys took it to heart tonight because you only allowed 2 walks and, 4 hits. Just talk about that.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. That's always been a thing since, you're little. Free passes on the bases lead to runs. When we lost, I think there was a game when, if we walked a leadoff guy in an inning, that he scored every time. So that's a huge thing to keep those guys off base, obviously. But I think we did take that to heart tonight, like you said, and with those 2 walks and getting back on track and gaining some confidence up there on the mound with everybody, the whole staff. I think that was a big time thing.
Any more questions? Cool. Thanks. Y'all can start with questions for Dylan.
Hey, Dylan. So, obviously, great, bounce back win for you guys as an offense to kind of get back on track before Vanderbilt. I mean, just, talk about, obviously one of the big problems last weekend was you guys were getting hits and getting on base, just not getting guys home. I mean, just talk about that difference tonight and how it, worked in your favor.
Yeah, I mean, we just weren't, doing the little things, scoring the guys that we needed to at certain times. We had too many guys in scoring position and not scoring runs. So I mean, it was a good day today, to come, bounce back from this weekend and get a good victory under our hands, and feeling comfortable into this weekend.
For you personally, you've obviously been bouncing back and forth the last couple of weeks from the leadoff spot to the 3-hole. I mean, I'm curious, just what's the difference? I mean, Coach mentioned that you're seeing a lot more off-speed pitches in the 3-hole. I mean, just for you, what has been the biggest adjustment, and just kind of trying to adjust, I guess, to being the 3-hole hitter as opposed to the leadoff guy?
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, yeah, like you said, definitely seeing more off speeds and more changeups, more curveballs. But my approach doesn't really change at all. I'm trying to be as aggressive as I can, trying not to get into 2 strike counts. Try and hit everything before the first strike is kind of what I take into my approach. But yeah, just going out there and being the same guy, no matter if I'm lead off or batting in the 3-hole.
Do you feel like you're gaining confidence in both? I mean, obviously you started off like gangbusters in the leadoff spot, but do you feel like you're kind of gaining confidence in that 3-hole now?
Yeah, definitely gaining some confidence there. Obviously I don't have many RBIs, but like I said, I'm gonna be the same guy in the leadoff spot as I am in the 3-hole. But I'm definitely gaining confidence as the games go forward.
What went right for you guys in that big inning to start at the beginning of the game?
I'm sorry, what was that?
What went right for you guys at that big inning at the start of the game when you guys had the bases loaded?
Just doing the little things, really scoring, getting big hits, moving guys over when we can. That was our big issue this past weekend. Not scoring those guys. You saw in the first inning, I didn't produce when the guy was in scoring position, but I had a guy right behind me who produced and scored that run. So I mean, this team is, from the leadoff guy to the 9-hole, is very special.
Dylan, you mentioned not having so many RBIs. I get mostly because you're in the leadoff spot most of the season. You end up with season high 4 tonight. I mean, is that purely just a byproduct of where you are in the lineup, and how did it feel to contribute that much offensively?
It felt great. It felt great. Obviously, roles kind of change as you move around in the lineup. As a leadoff, I'm trying to get on and score runs, be a good base runner, get on base and score runs. But it was good. It was good to get my RBIs in today as a 3-hole and do my job. And that was to score runs. So it felt good.
What was the mentality that y'all had coming into this game, and did it change at all after a win?
We were just shaking off last weekend. I mean, we had a really rough last weekend, but we shook it off and gave it all we got today, and left everything out on the field.
Just in case we don't get to talk to you tomorrow, have you ever faced Leiter or Rocker, and if so, what was it like doing that in high school?
I have not faced them. I've played with them before throughout events and tournaments, but I've never faced them at all.
Is that all? Thank y'all.